Good evening. The ALP has made amends with the party's former National Secretary, David Coombe. Coombe, who was shunned by the Hawke government last year after the so-called Coombe-Evanoff affair, was welcomed back to the political fold with a special resolution passed by the National Conference.
Hawke went on to say that last year's ASIO report on the relationship between Mr. Coombe and KGB agent Valery Ivanov had left the government trying to balance two sets of responsibilities.
One in respect of the interest of the country, and one in respect of a colleague, and in my case, a friend of many years' standing.
Now,
and
extra voiceover. I wonder if we've got any library stuff of Ivanov. Matt, could you bring back with you the cassette that has got the library pictures of Valery Ivanov, KGB agent? Yes? Good man.
And I can say I have no animus against... Jesus Christ.
There's no animus here.
And fortunately, there's no animus anywhere else.
That was a free kick for Footscray. Way you go, Bob.
With order quickly restored, Mr. Hawke went on to say that last year's ASIO report on the relationship between Mr. Coombe and KGB agent Valery Ivanov had left the government trying to balance two sets of responsibilities. I think you can make more points in a day-to-day situation. The Utah piece was very influential, and it surprised me at the time. But it was to some extent a one-off. And how many people remember, for example, there must have been 30 other hour-long specials that I did over a period of 4 years there. How many people remember how many of them? Whereas this, I mean, people don't remember many of these pieces either, but they're getting them day after day after day. And I think that does have a more continuing impact. And I think if you're doing your job as well as we'd like to believe we are, I think you're more useful in that sense.
He felt no pleasure in the fact that Mr. Coombe and his family had been hurt.
I'm equally aware that in the process, David, in his assessment of the situation, has found it necessary to say some harsh things about me. And in a sense, I can understand that. I guess it's human nature.
Human nature, bang.
That if the roles of... I can understand that. I guess it's human nature.
The special resolution, moved by Peter Duncan from South Australia and seconded by Attorney General Gareth Evans... It's human nature, you understand that's human nature. Then the two grabs of voiceover. We have a shot of Peter Duncan moving it. Yeah. Gareth Evans seconding it. Rand putting it to the vote on the voices. Coombe out in the lobby doing his little news conference. And then the stand-up. Continue his fight for financial compensation. And was he touched by the Prime Minister's friendly remarks?
I listened to the contributions with a great deal of interest.
Print journalism, how influential is that compared with television journalism? Well, they're both very influential in different ways. The surveys of the Australian public show where they get their information from and which media source they believe, which is this. On the other hand, the newspaper work, the stuff that Paddy McGuinness does, is tremendously influential in a more behind-the-scenes way, in that the politicians have this whole respect for newspapers as documents of record. The newspapers tend to set the agenda, then we go out and tell the story. Yeah. You see, I listen to it with considerable interest. Yeah.
I listened to the contributions with a great deal of interest.
Bang. Great deal of interest.
Another grab of him, is it?
No, stand up.
It's pretty long.